You're not being destroyed, you're being put under construction. This humbling experience was simply mirroring back to you a certain reality that you didn't want to face, a certain part of yourself that was already built on a shaky foundation. But it's also going to be rebuilt, better and stronger. What's going on, everyone? My name's Natalie, and I'm trying out this car podcast ordeal. Yeah, I'm so original, right, guys? No, honestly, I wanted a different setup, so let me know if you guys like this down in the comments. But this week's video is all about how the universe puts you in situations to be humbled in order to help you grow. This video is all about taking those humbling, embarrassing, cringe moments in your life and going, you know what? This situation isn't ideal, but what can I learn from it? What can I take from it? And how can I implement this into my life to actually grow? Being embarrassed isn't as bad as you think it is. And I know you're like, oh, well, what will my friends think? What will my mom think? What will whoever in your life that you care about, even if you're not that big of an external validation junkie as I am. You know what I mean? I used to be a huge external validation junkie. I was doing everything for everyone, right? Screw everyone else's opinion. What is my takeaway from this situation? And I think it's super important to actually dive into that. But I'm going to be using the example of a breakup because I feel like everyone's been through a breakup. So for example, you ignore all of the signs, right? You're living in Deluluville, you're going on a silly little side quest of self-sabotage, and you keep going back to that one ex, right? You don't think the universe is going to humble you? You don't think you're going to have a tower moment? Like, the universe literally gave you so many signs of do not go this way, do not go this way, and what do? Go that way. Like, please, I need you to take a step back and look at yourself from an objective standpoint. Step number 1, face that shit. You need to face failure in order to grow. You need to be humbled by the universe, or you're just gonna walk around life in Deluluville when everyone around you sees that you're not actually living a reality you want. I feel like the security is actually gonna stop me. I hope they don't. Yeah, why are they doing that? I am not doing anything, sir. I'm trying to help civilians. Civilians. Back to what we were saying, okay? You need to face being humbled because life will literally teach you lessons if you can just be open to failure, if you can just be open to the fact that you don't know everything. Humans hate being wrong. You don't like having to admit, I could have handled that situation better. So when we face an experience that's meant to humble us, our first instinct is to resist it. No, that's still my boyfriend. He didn't just break up with me. I know you guys have seen some TikToks being like, oh, me trying to manifest my ex back, me trying to get this situation back, me trying to hex my old friend. Or when you obsess over a past situation and try to wish bad upon another person, that is a way of bargaining, okay? You're going through a grieving process, and you need to identify that it's a grieving process from the beginning. And even if it's not you're grieving that person, you might be grieving the situation, you're grieving your old self. We are in a constant cycle of death and rebirth, and how do you access that death and rebirth? Through being humbled, through realizing your past reality, your past paradigm isn't working for you anymore. This doesn't make me feel good. This doesn't make people want to be in my life. How do I improve? How do I do better? And so naturally resisting something that doesn't feel good is completely normal. You can't not do that at first, but you need to identify when you're resisting something. So a lot of times it's within our bodies. Sometimes people are so detached from their emotions because of trauma, because of the things they've been through, that they don't even know when they're feeling resistance because they're always in a constant high state of anxiety. But one way you know that you are resisting growth is you'll feel it. Sometimes it'll be goosebumps. Sometimes it'll be your stomach. I feel like a lot of people have stomach pains when they're going through high anxiety moments and they're just constantly stressed. Take this with a grain of salt because every single person is different, but in my own life, I've noticed that I'm resisting something when I'm clinging on to my past and I have to convince myself that the situation I want to be in is right for me. Another thing humans do, we'll try to justify our own bad behavior by the fact that the other person was bad. I'm not saying you can't defend yourself, but weigh out the options of if defending yourself is even worth it or if they just deserve a block. Is your peace worth defending yourself? If someone is going to bring you down to a level where you are tempted to do something that is against your values, you need to detach yourself from that situation completely. Allow life to humble you. and allow yourself to identify the parts of you that were unhealed that reacted a certain way. And this takes a lot of time because oftentimes we get so angry when we think about someone who's done us wrong. We get so mad because it feels unjust. You know, why am I the one that just has to take all of this while they can go on and live their life? But the truth is, you have a choice in the situation too, especially if you're no contact, especially if you've distanced yourself from the situation, especially if years have gone by. You can set yourself free from things that have happened to you. You have the power to do that. You just have to be open to it, okay? So obviously, we try to justify ourselves and go, you know what? My bad behavior is actually justified. And I'm not saying you gotta go apologize. Absolutely not. I'm just saying, like, to your own brain, start to unravel these things. You know what I mean? Like, if I've gone through a situation with a person, what I'll do is I'll go through every single avenue. Okay, did I do everything I could to mend this situation, to make it right? And if I did everything that I could without sacrificing myself, without making it self-hate, to do something for someone, I release myself from the need to try to go back and justify my own things, because what's done is done. Forgive yourself for the things that you did with your level of awareness, okay? Now you are aware though. Once you become aware of a bad behavior you had, once you become humbled by the universe, you can then grow and learn how to show up for somebody else better. So the universe humbles you in order to push you forward in life, in order to help you grow. This isn't something where you're a bad person, you need to feel shame for yourself. No, you need to feel proud of yourself because you recognize something and you can let it go now. You see the difference? You're not being destroyed, you're being put under construction. This humbling experience was simply mirroring back to you a certain reality that you didn't want to face, a certain part of yourself that was already built on a shaky foundation. So yeah, that shaky foundation needs to be rebuilt. That does take tearing down some stuff, but it's also going to be rebuilt better and stronger. When you face a situation where you are being torn down, you have to have some type of trust in yourself or the universe or whatever you believe in. You have to have trust that you will get through it because you are living in it. And if you've been watching me for a minute, I always like to share some things about my life in these videos so that you guys know I'm not just talking out of nothing. You know, I'm 20 years old. I still have things to learn, but I've definitely been humbled in life. For example, when I first moved out, I thought I knew everything. As soon as I turned 18, I decided to move out. And I got stuck in a horrible roommate situation, right? And I was living in like a college town situation, so I didn't think I'd need my car. So I sold my car, I moved out, I had literally 4 roommates. And so I was 18, I was living with my roommates. I started doing business with one of my roommates. Bad decision. But I started doing business with one of my roommates, and we were actually doing pretty well. You know, I was able to make my rent, I was doing brand deals, and I was working. I thought I had everything figured out. I was about to sign another lease with my roommate, and we were gonna move in together. It was gonna be a whole ordeal. When I say it hit the fan, it didn't just hit the fan, it splattered all over the walls. I had to move back in with my dad. I had no car, no job. I was broke. I was broke, okay? So I moved back in with my parents, and since I had no car, you know what I did? I went back to my first ever job. I never in my life thought I would go back to this job because not that it was a horrible first job, I just was talking so big on social media and I knew everyone from my hometown already knew the things I was doing. And it's not like I had so many followers, I'm not saying that, okay? I'm just saying the people who knew me from high school absolutely knew where I was just because we followed each other on social media. So them seeing me back working at my first ever job after talking all of this big stuff on social media, the most humbling experience of my life. But I would not trade the lessons I learned for anything in the world, any other experience, because I learned so much by being able to swallow my pride and go back to my first ever job because I know I needed money. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So when it comes to humbling experiences, I understand how it can be difficult to look at yourself and look at all of your corny it, okay? It's so difficult to do that. You know what it takes? It takes courage. And one thing nobody talks about courage, in order to have courage, you must have fear. Fear must be present in order to have courage. You're not gonna get rid of the fear, so you might as well embrace it and see what you can learn from it. The ops are looking for me. The ops are looking. You might as well see what you learn from it, though. You know what I mean? Anyways, you guys, I gotta go to work. Lean into the fact that everything is working out in your favor. Everything that you're going through is meant to serve its purpose, even if you don't see it now. Let me know down in the comments things you can relate to or things you can add on to this. Be sure to follow all my social medias and share this video if it resonated with you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.